Looks like the attendee list has leveled off. I want to thank everybody for being here. Once again, I'm Ken Kibler, Director of Training and Client Business Support for eTruckBiz. We're going to go through the weekly update with some of our normal topics, as well as introduce a new feature to eTruckBiz that I think will help your business and is a great enhancement to our current software. So without further ado, I'll turn this over to Joe.
All right, thank you, Ken. And as always, we need to let you know that eTruckBiz is not door sponsored or anything else by FedEx. Okay, so one of the things you all know is a very large group of folks are going to be transitioning to Network 2.0 this year. And many want to know contractors have already handled it, right? So make no mistake, this is a very big change. If you think you're just going to keep on going like everything's not really changing, that's not how it goes. Those of you that have already been there know what we've been talking about for a long time. Network 2.0 is fundamentally different as far as operating in it and whatnot. In order for a smooth, successful transition to Network 2.0, you need to be able to focus on one thing above all else. This is what the others would tell you. You need to be able to focus on driver activity because what they do is going to be very different than what they currently do. And most of our new clients are coming on because of the BGSS system, or the Business Growth and Support System, which enables you to focus on driver activity. Well, how does it do that? Well, before we tell you how it does that, we want to let you know that there's some statistics. You know, we love data here at eTruckBiz, so we're going to give you some data. So out of 7 of 10 clients that we added in September that added because of Network 2.0, or the people that went through 2.0, and this is a little bit of data from yesterday, 7 of 10 of them exceeded an 18% daily dispatch yield. And yes, that's on a month. That's pretty damn good. Some of these folks, and I don't know, it's kind of blurry, you can't see it, but the average yield was 23%, which means they made 23% from an operating standpoint on each one of their dispatches on average. That's good, right? And some of them are way up here. I'm not even going to tell you what these were, 30, 40%. You're going to say, no, they didn't. So density is a real thing, folks. You just have to be able to focus on what the drivers are doing. So how they did this was they used the Business Growth and Support System, which is Admin IQ for the admin tasks, Budget IQ, which is what you just saw, Performance IQ, which is what Ken and Bob are going to talk to you a lot about here in a minute. That's what it is. And, people ask us this too, well, do I need to be a current contractor to do that? No, you can use the BGSS as a stand-up when you're standing up as a new contractor. It's actually a very good thing to have when you're standing up. Veterans want to optimize their operation, and lately we've had a lot of folks that are scaling their operations to multiple facilities. It's a perfect framework to be able to do that from. So we want to now look at the volume from last week. Now there's some good news on the volume front. There was a big comeback. Look at that, 19, almost 20% more pickup stops back on the vans last week. The packages were up even more. That's even healthier. That's a good sign. The delivery volume showed it didn't look as good as the pickups did, but maybe it'll be even more now. But the delivery stops are coming back. They're not favorable to last year yet, but at least they're coming back. Packages about the same amount. 20% snapback is good, it's just not good enough yet. We need more. And then we missed the productivity page. Productivity, dispatches were up, and productivity, well, it got better, but it's still hovering around 96 stops per dispatch. You say something,
Yeah,
Ken?
we really want to push it back over the 100 mark. I think that's a key metrics that you got to keep in your business. And, we'll talk about some predictors that are available in our system that we'd encourage you to utilize as the volume fluctuates. But it's the only way, proper scheduling is the only way you're going to get to and maintain that 100 stops per dispatch.
Okay. And a lot of folks are asking a lot of questions about what's going on at the stock price because it's doing so well. It's down today. The whole market was down today. But yesterday, at least, it was around 387. 52-week high, or the all-time highs, was 391. So it's up around the all-time high. It's come a long way in a short period of time. A lot of people want to know, well, is it still going to keep going up? I don't know. But here's what I do know. It's had a hell of a return. Look at that 1 year return on investment. 53%. Oh dear Lord. 3 month return, 43%. That's fantastic. So the street thinks there's 4.5% analysts think it's overvalued at this point. Why not? But then there are a bunch that think it can run, but whatever. It's doing real well. Everything's going really good there. So let's take a look at your business, right? So we want to look at the impact of scheduling and how that's going to affect how you approach Network 2.0. And then after the boys talk about some stuff here, we'll look at the new scheduling tool. So here you go, Ken and Bob.
Yes, scheduling, there's nothing more important if you can schedule to the volume. Yes, you need some backups for call-offs, but once again, you can build that in, especially with some of the things we're going to show you, be able to look at the historical numbers on your call-offs. So getting and working a schedule is critical, and planning, and it's something that eTruckBiz has invested in right here. We've constantly been trying to update. You noticed it with Easy Route. Now you're going to see the next step here with scheduling, because it is critical to the efficiency of your business, not just the service, but the efficiency of your business when you properly plan. So we're investing, and you can see these changes in our system here.
Hey, and with that too, we want to make sure that everyone's. I see contractors out there. They're planning their schedule the night of. Can't do that. First off, if you do that, then you give the drivers the ability to say no. You need to have at least send a 2-week schedule. And if you can do it, send a month. That way they can plan. You can plan. You're not scrambling every night, and you should never have to scramble, because then you're going by the seat of your pants. You got to plan. You got to schedule. And with this new tool that we've got, the revamped and better, it makes it so much easier. And you can send it to your drivers, and they this is the schedule. And I'd always advise scheduling a couple extra. If you need them, they're there. If you don't, you pay them for the time that they were there, and they're done for the day. But use those people, though, to make sure that they're helping people get loaded up, get everybody out. When they cut, boom, everyone is hitting the road. But this new tool is going to help so much. And use your trends, 4-week trends. That's what we're working on putting in here. That way you can schedule it. Am I overscheduled? Am I underscheduled? Back to you, Ken.
This is the new look right here. Said it's purpose-built workforce scheduling for eTruck business operation support customers. Stop. You don't have to guess. It's going to be right there. It's simple. It's clean, and it's just not another calendar. This is built for FedEx service providers. It's going to be data driven, and it's going to be future ready, meaning what Bob says, there's going to be some volume predictors in there, and there's going to be some historical data. How do we perform on stops per dispatch? Because they vary by day. Jeff showed what Monday's business, the results look like, and Monday's normally our lowest productivity day that we have. So you want to plan for lower productivity on Monday, because your piece per stop is high. But then the rest of the week, what do you plan? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday may vary a little bit, but you want to plan your staffing based off of already dictated and shown performance trends. Want to go ahead with this, Bob?
Sure. Yeah, and with the speed and the efficiency, you just reduce admin time, because you got it in front of you. It's right there. It's ready to go. And if you're looking at your trends, which we're with that, then it's a no-brainer. No one should ever have the same amount of routes every day of the week. Everyone's volume is going to fluctuate up and down. So as it does, you need to have, one day Mondays you got 19 routes in, and 16 on Tuesday, 17 on Wednesday, then you may 19 or 20 Thursday, Friday, however it works for you. But as that works for you, it's going to be consistent week after week. Your heaviest day is always going to be on your heaviest day, as long as there isn't, something out there disrupting, weather, holidays, whatever. But with this, it should be very seamless. And once you do it one time, it'll be click, 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 click. It's easy.
Closing the compliance gap.
Go ahead, Ken.
This is
big
one
on this.
Everybody's got to turn in their annual compliance information. That's stressful when they call you and say, hey, you've got 15 days to get us your last 4 weeks of pay records. Well, this is going to help you with that. You're going to be tracking your hours of service. We're going to flag violations early, and they're going to be audit-ready records. So, because this is all going to be linked through your payroll as well as your timekeeping everything's linked to the scheduler here.
The impact on your bottom line, software stack, now you don't need all the extra outside resources. You've got everything right here. Whether you got 5 routes, 10 routes, or 100 routes, or multiple CSAs, it will work for you.
As Bob said, everything's linked. One platform replaces multi-tool, right sizes your staffing, reliable schedules for drivers. That's a driver satisfaction thing, should reduce some turnover, and scales effortlessly. It doesn't matter if you got 5 drivers or 100 drivers, this system's going to work easily for you. And it's going to, if you have multiple CSAs, it will work by CSA as well.
Okay, so let's take a shot at getting Mason to show it to us. How would that?
So the guys over there were talking about our new scheduler tool. It is in the beta testing. So for those of you who have access to our boss system, this is the way you'll get to it. There is a new up here that does come up that you can, get rid of once you've seen it. And it tells you some new stuff that's in here. Shift-based system, shift templates, and it's a lot faster than what we used to have in there. So we're going to go ahead and you can either click go to new PMD scheduler, or I'm going to go ahead and find it in the menu over here. So for those of you who are just wanting to find it any other day of the week, it is going to be over here with this calendar icon. So we're going to go over here into the scheduler. First thing you want to see is the toggle here. There is a way to get back to the old legacy one if you wanted to. If some of you are using that old one, you can get back there and look at what you had in the past versus what's in the new one. As with anything in our software, anytime you see the little eye icon, that gives you some information as far as, new versus old scheduler and things of that nature. So anytime you see that, just go ahead and click on it and get some information easily accessible to you there. So the new is so that you can get in here very quickly and easily start clicking around and adding people to your schedule. So as simple as hovering over who you want to add to that day. I clicked on the first and on this Mr. Jason Abels. So it already created for Sunday the 1st, put him in here, and it does give you some of the information. Our old scheduler used to have you put in the vehicle and work area number. Those are still available, but you do not have to do that anymore. And for those of you who are using our Easy Route in the driver app, if you have your drivers set to only be able to see their work area that they are scheduled to in the scheduler, you want to make sure you continue to schedule that work area to the driver, so that way they're only seeing the work area that day that they're assigned to in Easy Route to get their routing software and the P&E driver app. But if you go in here to shift template, this is something that's brand new. These are going to be your default shift templates. So we did go ahead and already add default ones in here for you, because all of you, I hope, have drivers and some VCs and maybe even a lead driver. But these are all just defaults. So if you're in here, you're creating your schedule and you're doing your thing and you say, oh man, I forgot I need to add some people. I have a customer that I am the ASM for, that he has flex shifts where he has them come in for the morning, and if he doesn't need them anymore after a certain time, he sends them home. So say he wanted to add that one in as he's going through, he could click add new shift template and you can create a whole new one here. But let's go ahead and just make him a driver, and we're going to click save. So that goes ahead and adds that person in as a driver, and then you can go ahead and add the next person for the first. Go ahead and say it's a driver. And as you see, you're just going down through the list here and adding day to day. Now, let's say I accidentally put this on Maria, but I meant to put it on Kobe. So we can go ahead and drag it down here and move it to where it's supposed to go. Let's say we're done with the first. We want to go to the second. I meant to put Maria on the second. And you can see how quickly and easily you can add shifts here day to day. Now, this is your by week view. If you wanted to go to by day, we're going to go over here to the first. So here are Mr. Jason and Kobe. So these are your by day records. And again, as you can see, you can delete or edit them right from where you are. For those of you who are from the old scheduling system, it does look a little different. And then there also is a by month view. This does get a little cluttered when you start adding more than just 2 or 3 people, but there will be, I'll show you here. You can add a couple more so you can see what this starts to look like. And see, you can change these color codes. So if you specifically want to have a certain set of colors to decide, for driver, for BC, you can change these. Go back to by month. So you can see, you start to scroll down and it has more than one person. But you can see by month. This is a great view to have in case you have a time off request. Up under the icon here are all of your shift templates. You can on the fly add a shift template, but you can also go in here and preemptively add them. And you can also edit any of these. So let's say I don't want my lead driver and my BC to have the same color. right? Do a teal color. The color is different and it's different from all the other ones. So now when you go to look at your schedule, it's going to show more color-coded, a more visual view of what different shifts you have for the week or for the day. And you can also delete them. So if you no longer are using that, you can. And as you saw too, you can change the start time and end time. Just because these are our defaults does not mean that you have to keep them this way either. For those of you who are on wave dispatching, this is a great tool to use for wave dispatching because you can have, you can set your first wave, and then let's say somebody is on both waves, you can, say they're a BC in the first one, but then the second wave, you actually want them to be a driver. Now I'm going to leave it with these hours. You'll see there's two, but it'll have two different hours on there, and they have two different shifts. One's a wave, one's not. One they're a BC, one they're not. Okay. Let's say I want to add a time off request. Okay. So there was the time off request button. We're going to add a request. So I'm going to put one in here for Jason, and we're going to put it on the 6th. And we're going to put it as requested. And as you saw here too, there are blocked dates. Now there are places in the time off request system where you can block out, let's say, peak. So you can block those dates off. So when they go to try to request time off, they can't actually request it off because it's blocked out. So whether it's holiday, whether it's peak, whatever the time may be, you can block out those dates. Now, as you see here, this request is back here. If I go back in here, it's going to have a little +1 button. That means that you have a time off request that needs to be addressed. So there is the time off request. This is what it looks like on the calendar. So when you get in here and it's fresh, it's new, and you don't have anything in here and you're getting ready to schedule this week, you can very easily and very quickly scroll down through here and see if anybody has an approved time off. So as you're managing those throughout the week and throughout the month, you'll start to see them. Now you can still add a shift. So let's say he requested that time off, but he doesn't need it anymore. You can either delete the time off request or add the shift, whichever you prefer. If you also go to by month, that's an easy way to also see, approved time off for certain people across the whole month as well. So if you want to see who you've approved time off for throughout the month, that is also in here as well. And just because the time off requests are in here does not mean that they're not other places too. Okay. So if you go into employees, there's more features here in the time off request area where you manage those block dates, things like that. So this is just for you to be able to manage them fairly quickly. If you're like, oh, I remember Jason wanted that day off, but he didn't put his request in. You can very quickly and easily put it in from where you are. And then you can also copy it from week to week. So one of the last things that is in here, my work area view, I didn't choose a work area, but you can, and they'll show up in there. So if you edit this and let's say you go to my work area view, it should be, there it is right there. So our work area is in here. So there it is, who it is, and who's on that work area, right? If I want to say I've got my schedule, I'm ready to go for the week, and I really want to get my schedule ready for next week. Right? So I go to next week, I click my copy button, and it's going to ask me a couple of things. Do I have any conflicts back here? Do I have like time off requests? Or do I already have records in here that I want to maybe overwrite or don't want to overwrite? You can go ahead and decide, I'm going to allow some conflicts if I have any, but it's going to let you choose what week you want to copy from. So I'm copying to the week I'm in from one of the last 5 weeks, right? So I'm going to copy from the one I was just in, which was this current week we're in. So there is all of the stuff we just did last week with minus the time off. So that is how easily, so they were talking about once you kind of have a schedule for 1 week, it's kind of the same for the next. You might have one person here or there you might have to take off to right size based on the volume that you might be seeing, things like that, but it's as easy as coming in here and deleting somebody. Now, say you copied the schedule here, but you really didn't want to. You can also clear it. So you can clear it all out and be ready to go and start over. And for those of you who have multiple CSAs that you are wanting to, this particular contractor only has one, but if you wanted to schedule based on the work area or the CSA that the driver is assigned to, you can sort it by CSA. So for those of you who have multiple operations, I know there's quite a few of you out there, the way that you would use this is under your employees. You would just go to Mr. Jason Abels and make sure that the CSA is actually assigned to them so that when you go into that schedule, they'll be in the correct location when you go to use the CSA. Okay? Do we have any questions?
Yeah, it says, do you have a spot that total shifts or routes per day?
That is in the next version. We actually have a whole slew of wonderful, awesome features that are coming that are going to do a couple of things down there at the bottom. Down here at bottom, there's going to be a whole slew of totals and, adding up and what types of shifts you have, how many of each shift you have on each day, how many drivers you have scheduled. There's a lot. We'll be very shortly doing another one of these calls where I show you all the of really awesome new stuff to add to this. For instance, you're going to be able to click into Jason to go to his record somewhere, things like that. So there's lots of new features that are coming to this, and that is one of them. So thank you, Miriam, for asking. Any other questions?
Yeah, doesn't look like we got any questions, but I think as you can see, that's where we're evolving. So you can see how you actually did. You can see what you should plan. We'll have the volume in there, and like I said, and productivity by day. So planning for success every day. You guys are going to work hard, no doubt about it. Your team works hard every day. This is going to help you work smart, help you work efficient, plan, and then the team's just got to go out and execute the plan. So it'll get us to the 100 stops per dispatch. Doesn't look like we have any other questions. Jeff, anything else to add?
No, sir.
Okay, so if you want to schedule a demo, please reach out to us because we cover a lot here, and there's going to be more and more as we develop this thing, but it's going to be functional already, and we're going to continue to make it better, as Jeff said, to reinvest in our software. So we're investing in your business for success. So that's all we have for today. We will be back here next Tuesday. And if we don't talk to you before then, please have a safe and profitable week. Thank you very much.